Hello, our Lives channel. Today we will learn about the explosive developments coming to Salem on Wednesday, October 1st, as shocking DNA test results threaten to turn Brady Black's world completely upside down, while Sophia Choi's elaborate web of deception continues to spiral out of control in the most devastating ways possible. Kayla's life-changing revelation. The atmosphere in Salem is thick with tension as Kayla Johnson prepares to deliver some absolutely earth-shattering news that will leave Brady Black reeling in complete disbelief. After weeks of mounting suspicion and growing unease about the circumstances surrounding baby Tesoro's birth and subsequent adoption, Brady has been desperately waiting for answers that could finally confirm or destroy his worst fears about what really transpired. The DNA test results he's been anxiously anticipating are finally ready, and Kayla finds herself in the uncomfortable position of being the messenger who must deliver this potentially explosive information. Brady's investigation into Sophia Choi's pregnancy story has been fueled by his protective instincts as a father who refuses to stand idly by while his son Tate Black potentially gets manipulated. The entire situation has never quite added up in Brady's experienced mind, especially considering that Tate specifically remembers using protection during his one and only intimate encounter with Sophia. While Brady understands that contraceptive failures can occasionally occur, the timing of this pregnancy combined with Sophia's increasingly erratic behavior has raised far too many red flags for him to simply ignore. The DNA test mystery unfolds. Working alongside his trusted friend and investigator Steve Johnson, Brady managed to arrange for a comprehensive DNA test on baby Tesoro despite some initial reluctance from Kayla, who felt ethically conflicted about conducting such a test without proper consent and documentation. However, Brady and Steve were able to navigate through all the necessary legal channels and obtain the proper paperwork to move forward with the testing. Now that the moment of truth has finally arrived, the results that Kayla is about to share could potentially rewrite everything that everyone in Salem thought they knew about this complicated situation. The burning question that has been keeping Brady awake at night is whether these test results will definitively prove that Tate is not actually the biological father of Tesoro. If the DNA analysis comes back negative, it would validate Brady's suspicions and completely expose Sophia's elaborate scheme that has caused so much heartache and confusion for multiple families. However, there's also the very real and troubling possibility that someone with a vested interest in maintaining Sophia's deception could have interfered with the testing process itself. Melinda Trask's potential involvement. Speculation is running rampant throughout Salem that attorney Melinda Trask, who has been working closely with Sophia throughout this entire ordeal, may have somehow discovered Brady and Steve's investigation and taken steps to protect her client's interests. Melinda has proven time and again that she's willing to operate in ethical gray areas when she believes the ends justify the means, and she may view tampering with DNA test results as a necessary evil to ensure that Sophia's wishes are honored. If Melinda did indeed eavesdrop on Brady and Steve's conversations and subsequently manipulated the test results in Sophia's favor, it would represent a catastrophic obstruction of justice that could have devastating consequences for everyone involved. The alternative scenario, which might actually be even more explosive in its implications, is that the DNA test results are completely legitimate and accurately reveal that Tate Black is definitively not the biological father of baby Tesoro. This outcome would raise an entirely new set of questions about who actually fathered Sophia's child and whether Sophia herself is even aware of the true paternity. One name that keeps surfacing in hushed conversations throughout Salem is Aaron Green, another young man who moved in the same social circles as Sophia and Tate during the time period when this baby would have been conceived. Aaron Green, the alternative father theory. If Aaron Green turns out to be Tesoro's biological father, it would create a massive seismic shift in the entire dynamic of the storyline and introduce layers of complexity that no one could have anticipated. The revelation would force everyone to reconsider Sophia's motivations and whether she deliberately lied about Tate being the father, or if she genuinely didn't know the truth herself due to the timeline of her relationships. Aaron's potential involvement would also raise serious questions about why Sophia specifically targeted Tate as the presumed father when there may have been other possibilities that she conveniently ignored or suppressed. Regardless of what the DNA results ultimately reveal, one thing is absolutely certain. Sophia Choi has no intention whatsoever of slowing down her increasingly dangerous campaign of manipulation and sabotage. Wednesday's episode will showcase Sophia actively putting the next calculated phase of her master plan into motion, with her sights firmly set on destroying multiple people's happiness simultaneously. Sophia's escalating war against Holly. Sophia's obsessive vendetta against Holly Jonas shows no signs of diminishing, and if anything, her determination to make Holly suffer has only intensified with each passing day. The troubled young woman has already proven herself capable of shockingly ruthless behavior, including the disturbing incident where she spiked Holly's drink in a twisted attempt to sabotage Holly's relationship with Tate. Now Sophia is plotting her next moves with the cold calculation of someone who has completely lost touch with any moral boundaries or ethical considerations. Sophia's psychological state has deteriorated significantly as her obsession with possessing Tate has consumed her every waking thought and driven her to commit increasingly desperate and dangerous acts. Her breakdown has been gradual but undeniable, transforming her from a confused and hurt teenager into someone willing to destroy innocent lives without hesitation or remorse. The chaos that Sophia is creating threatens to have far-reaching consequences that extend well beyond just the immediate people she's targeting. The adoption sabotage plot. Perhaps Sophia's most diabolical scheme involves her systematic sabotage of Johnny DiMera and Chanel Dupree's heartfelt attempts to adopt baby Tesoro and provide him with a loving, stable home. Johnny and Chanel have been nothing but genuine in their desire to become parents and give this child every possible advantage in life, yet Sophia seems to take perverse pleasure in crushing their dreams for reasons that have everything to do with her own twisted agenda. Wednesday's episode will feature a visit from a social worker named Jillian, portrayed by actress Erica Kreutz, who arrives at Johnny and Chanel's home to conduct what should be a routine evaluation of their suitability as prospective adoptive parents. Both Johnny and Chanel have been feeling optimistic about this meeting, believing that they've prepared everything necessary to demonstrate that they would be exemplary parents for Tesoro. Unfortunately for this hopeful couple, their dreams are about to be shattered in the most unexpected and devastating way imaginable. The social worker nightmare. The home visit that Johnny and Chanel anticipated would be a positive step forward in their adoption journey will instead transform into an absolute nightmare scenario that leaves them completely blindsided and confused. During the evaluation, shocking complaints allegedly originating from the unnamed birth mother will suddenly come to light, throwing the entire adoption process into immediate jeopardy. The nature of these complaints will catch Johnny and Chanel completely off guard, as they have no understanding of what they could have possibly done to warrant such serious concerns. Spoilers reveal that by the conclusion of Wednesday's episode, Johnny and Chanel will receive the crushing news that they are being denied the opportunity to adopt Tesoro, with their application being effectively rejected based on the damaging allegations that have been raised against them. The devastation that both of them will experience cannot be overstated, as they had invested so much emotional energy and hope into the possibility of becoming parents to this precious child. Chanel in particular will be left absolutely heartbroken by this cruel turn of events, struggling to comprehend how everything could have fallen apart so quickly and inexplicably. The hidden hand behind the chaos. What neither Johnny nor Chanel yet realizes is that Sophia Choi has been orchestrating this entire disaster from behind the scenes, carefully manipulating circumstances to ensure that the adoption would fail. The complaints that supposedly came from the birth mother were likely fabricated or grossly exaggerated by Sophia, who has been working with Melinda Trask to maintain control over Tesoro's fate. Sophia's motivation for destroying Johnny and Chanel's adoption chances appears to stem from her desire to keep all her options open regarding the baby, while simultaneously punishing anyone she perceives as standing in the way of her ultimate goal of possessing Tate. The fake relationship that Sophia orchestrated between Johnny and Holly as part of her earlier schemes is about to create even more complications and fallout in the days ahead. That particular manipulation, which seemed like a clever move at the time from Sophia's perspective, is poised to generate consequences that even she may not have fully anticipated. The interconnected web of lies and deception that Sophia has woven is becoming increasingly unstable and threatens to collapse entirely, potentially burying everyone involved under the rubble. The larger pattern of destruction. Sophia's behavior represents a deeply troubling pattern of someone who has become so fixated on a desired outcome that she's willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve it. Her actions are affecting not just the primary targets of her manipulation, but also innocent parties like Johnny and Chanel, who have done nothing to deserve the pain she's inflicting upon them. Baby Tesoro himself remains at the center of all this turmoil, an innocent child whose future is being determined by adults engaging in deception, manipulation, and power struggles. The situation has spiraled so far out of control that it's becoming increasingly difficult to see how Sophia could possibly escape the consequences of her actions without facing serious legal and personal repercussions. Her behavior has crossed numerous ethical and possibly legal boundaries, from drugging Holly to interfering with adoption proceedings through fraudulent means. The question isn't whether Sophia's schemes will eventually be exposed, but rather when that exposure will occur and how much additional damage she'll manage to inflict before the truth finally comes to light. Brady's impending crisis. As Kayla prepares to deliver those shocking DNA test results to Brady, the potential ramifications extend in multiple directions depending on what those results actually reveal. If the test shows that Tate is indeed not the father, Brady will face the difficult task of confronting Sophia and potentially Melinda Trask about the elaborate deception that has been perpetrated against his son. If the results have been tampered with and falsely show Tate as the father, Brady may find himself in the frustrating position of knowing something is wrong but struggling to prove it. Either scenario positions Brady for a major confrontation that could have lasting repercussions throughout Salem's tight-knit community. His protective instincts as a father combined with his own complicated past experiences make him particularly determined to ensure that Tate doesn't get trapped in a situation built on lies and manipulation. The news that Kayla delivers on Wednesday will serve as a crucial turning point that propels the entire storyline in a new and potentially explosive direction. Sophia's uncertain future. The trajectory that Sophia is currently on appears unsustainable, with her increasingly erratic and destructive behavior suggesting that some form of reckoning is inevitable. Whether that reckoning comes in the form of legal consequences, social ostracism, psychological breakdown, or some combination of all three remains to be seen. What is clear is that Sophia has painted herself into a corner where virtually any outcome results in significant pain and loss for herself as well as for the many people she's hurt along the way. The chaos that Sophia continues to generate will undoubtedly reach a boiling point in the near future, and Wednesday's episode represents another major escalation in her campaign of destruction. Viewers should prepare themselves for emotional confrontations, shocking revelations, and the kind of dramatic twists that Days of Our Lives has built its reputation on delivering. The storylines involving Brady's DNA test revelation and Johnny and Chanel's adoption nightmare are interconnected pieces of a larger puzzle that will continue to unfold with devastating consequences for everyone involved. Stay tuned to Days of Our Lives as this explosive situation continues to develop and the truth slowly, but inevitably begins to surface despite Sophia's best efforts to keep her secrets buried.